توثيق العلاقات الإنسانية وبناء ثقافة التسامح والتضامن على المستوى الاجتماعي والاقتصادي. يمكن أن نوصي بالتالي: أولاً، قيام أطراف النزاع بالتفاتات تضامنية وتكافلية وأنشطة مشتركة. ثانياً، تقديم خدمات صحية واجتماعية لتحسين سبل عيش ضحايا الصراع وإطلاق الحوار معهم عند الصراع، ولتحقيق الازدهار لمجتمعاتهم بعد نهاية الصراع. النقطة الثالثة: تعزيز دور النساء في القيادة الروحية والوساطة الإنسانية لحل النزاع ومساعدة ضحاياه. على المستوى السياسي، لا بد من اعتماد الحكامة الرشيدة القائمة على الديمقراطية وسيادة القانون والعدالة واحترام حقوق الإنسان من أجل تسوية النزاع وإشاعة سلام. ثانياً، حماية الأقليات والاعتراف بحقوقها دولياً ودينياً، ومنها حق إشراكها في الحكم وفي الظهور والاعتراف وفي التوزيع العادل للثروات حتى لا يقع التمييز والتهميش ويتأجج النزاع. ثالثاً، إجراء المفاوضات وتوقيع اتفاقيات على مذكرات تفاهم وسلام بين أطراف النزاع الأفقي، أقصد الشعب والحكومة، والالتزام بتعزيزها وتفعيلها على كل المستويات. المستوى الأخير وهو مستوى التوعية والتثقيف والتدريب، وهو هام جداً ناقشه أكثر من المتدخل. أوله القيام بحملات تثقيفية وتحسيسية بين الطوائف المتوترة لتفعيل الحوار والتعايش، وذلك بتطوير برامج تدريبية لصناعة قادة محليين وقادة روحيين. ثانياً، تنظيم ورشات تدريبية لفائدة رجال الدين والنساء والأطفال والجنود لتجاوز تحديات مرحلة ما بعد الصراع. ثالثاً، تعليم مبادئ مختلف الأديان لتحقيق الوحدة الإنسانية والسلام العالمي والحفاظ على المصالح المشتركة فوق سطح سفينتنا الأرضية المشتركة. في ختام هذه الكلمة أود أن ألقي بين يديكم كلمة بسيطة جدا في محور السلام وفض النزاع من منطلق شخصي. النزاع والحروب أيها الحضور الكريم أمر ينافي رسالة الأديان ورسالة الإسلام، رسالة الرحمة والتعارف والتعاون والوحدة. يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة. إذن كيف نحل السلام ونحل النزاع؟ السلام لا يمكن أن يحل إلا بنشر أسباب السلام والتي بها يزول النزاع. أول الأسباب كما تفضل به كثير من المتدخلين هو إقامة العدل، أي التسوية في أخذ الحقوق وأداء الواجبات دون ميل مع عصبية أو عشيرة أو هوى. التناغم الكوني هذا الذي نحسه بفضله نعيش بسلام. التناغم الكوني سببه العدل، لا يميل كوكب عن مداره وإلا أحدث دمارا رهيبا. كذلك لا بد من أداء حق البشر في تقرير المصير، في العيش الكريم، في التقبل الإيجابي، في المحبة، في الاحترام، ومن ذلك احترام المشاعر الدينية وعدم استفزازها، واحترام الرموز الدينية والأماكن المقدسة وعدم تدنيسها وتشويهها. إذا تربى الأفراد والأمم سياسيين وعلماء الدين على خلق العدل ووزنوا تصرفاتهم وأقوالهم وقراراتهم ومساراتهم بميزان العدل صاروا إلى حالة سلام. وهذا لا مزيد على بيانه. لا بد من تعزيز حقوق الإنسان دوليا ودينيا وإنسانيا، والعدالة مطلب ضروري للسلام. النقطة الثانية باختصار: الإحسان والصبر. تغليب الصفح على العقاب بعد النزاع هو غاية الإحسان، وهو ما أشار إليه عدد من المتدخلين تحت عنوان بناء ثقافة التسامح والغفران من أجل تحقيق المصالحة واحتواء مشاعر الغضب والانتقام ونزعات العنف والتدمير. أختم بهذه الكلمات المنتظمة في عقد الأديان كلها، وهي: العدالة، المحبة، التقبل الإيجابي، التفهم، الاحترام المتبادل، الصفح، الغفران، والعمل الصالح. إنها مفاتيح تحويل النفوس من الكراهية والنزاع إلى المحبة والسلام، وهي السر في إنجاح الحوار ونشر السلام وحل النزاع إذا أردنا فعلا ذلك بنوايانا الصادقة. وفقكم الله جميعا وبارك جهودكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. نشكر أختنا الزميلة الدكتورة جميلة زيان. وآخر المتحدثين هو الدكتور هيو غودر. تفضل مشكورا ليحدثنا عن جلسته. طبعا الدكتورة جميلة عرضت ما تم مناقشة وعرضت مقترحات التي عرضت في الجلسات ورؤيتها الشخصية، وهذه إن شاء الله ستكون يعني أحد الأوراق المهمة التي سنضيفها إلى ورقتين سابقتين يتقدمها الزملاء. تفضل دكتور هيو.
So may I add my own thanks, first of all, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the sponsorship of this conference, to the Doha Center and to Professor Naini for the vision of the conference, to Dr. Nadia and her team for the organization of the conference, and also, of course, to the translators for all that they have done to help with communication. It's very interesting that the majority of the voices from the platform have, I think, been male, but I think all of the voices through the headphones have been female, and that raises interesting questions for those of us who are male. Is it the case that women make better translators because they can think more quickly, or is it a result of socio-economic and educational policies? My task is to summarize the academic theme of the conference, and we have had a huge amount of ground to cover. We have had presentations from Australia and New Zealand, we've had presentations from South America, we've had presentations from different parts of the Arab world, and we've also had presentations from West Africa, from Niger and Chad. We've had reference to Uzbekistan and many other parts of the world. And summarizing this discussion is, of course, a challenge because I haven't been counting, but I think we have each heard something like 100,000 words during the course of this conference. So summarizing what we have heard is certainly very challenging. With respect to Christian-Muslim dialogue, which is my own interest, may I again just record from the UK, thanks to His Highness the Emir of Qatar for his sponsorship of activities such as this, the Building Bridges seminar, which has met in Qatar on a number of different occasions and produced these very interesting publications. The themes of the three sessions that we have been research and teaching, content development, and teacher training. And here are my three reflections, recommendations, if you like, from the discussions that we have had. And the first is the importance of language. We've had this illustrated perhaps in two ways during the course of our discussions. One with respect to gender, because I myself have heard phrases here that I have not heard before. And just to give a couple of examples, we had the input from Morocco, where we heard ulama, scholars of religion, male, wa alimat, scholars of religion, female. We had the reference to rijal ad-din, men of religion. We also had the reference to nisa ad-din, women of religion. The language that we use is very important. And it's also important, secondly, with respect to the internal religious diversity of our communities. How Catholic Christians speak about Protestant Christians is very important. How Sunni Muslims speak about Shi'i Muslims is also very important. The terms that we use, therefore, do matter. Second theme is the importance of direction. and this is direction in a geographical sense. Much of what we've heard in the conference has been about the Abrahamic religious traditions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And this is, of course, very important. From Qatar, thinking about Judaism and Christianity involves looking westwards to the parts of the world where Judaism and Christianity are longest established. It is also, of course, possible to look east. And from Qatar, if we look east, different religious traditions become important. We're thinking about Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. And relationships with these communities are also important for both pragmatic and reflective or intellectual reasons, if you like. Relationships between Islam and Hinduism are, of course, very important in India. And within the individual nations of the world, India is the home of the third largest Muslim religious community in the world. So the works of someone like Ali Asghar Engineer are very important in this context, as is the Sakha report on Muslims in India that was produced in 2005. Not primarily a religious report, but a report showing the concern of a secular government, the government of India, for the social, economic, and educational difficulties faced by the Muslim communities of India. If we think of relationships with Buddhism, we've had references in the course of the conference to the very unfortunate situation of Muslims in Myanmar, in Burma. And for that reason, dialogue between Muslims and Buddhists is also extremely important. And here is, in English, at least one book that addresses this question, edited by Reza Shah Kazemi, who is, I think, a member of the advisory board of the centre here in Qatar. And if we think of Malaysia, the most religiously diverse Muslim majority country in the world, then relations with Confucianists are very important as well. And here is the very interesting work edited by Professor Osman Bakar in Malaysia. Other books, I've just run through this very quickly because time is short, but many of you will know, in English at least, these important books in English produced in the United States in the course of the last 2 years on Islam and the fate of others, looking at the history of Muslim thinking about other religious traditions, and then the very interesting report of this conference held in the United States, again within the last couple of years. Third reflection or recommendation is the importance of priorities. And I hope it will be okay to mention a word which has been mentioned during the course of the conference. We've heard a great deal about the importance of ta'aruf, getting to know each other. We've heard a great deal about the importance of ta'ayush, living together. We've also heard a great deal about the importance of tasamuh, tolerance. But from the academic point of view, it is, I think, this word, tafahum, which is the priority for the future. And in this connection, may I mention a British scholar of Islam, Kenneth Cragg, who has died, unfortunately, within the course of the last year. And 50 years or so ago, when he was the editor of the journal, The Muslim World, produced at Hartford Seminary, he produced a series of articles which were quite controversial in their day. So controversial that he did not think that he could write them under his own name. So he wrote them anonymously under the pseudonym Abd al-Tafahum. servant of mutual understanding. And may we all be servants of mutual understanding as we leave. Finally, and slightly more specifically, here are some ideas which came out during the course of our discussions. What about the idea of an Abrahamic pilgrimage? The journeys of Abraham, originally, according to the scriptural texts, involve Iraq, involve Syria, involve Egypt, involve what's now Saudi Arabia, involve, of course, Israel, Palestine. What about the idea of an Abrahamic pilgrimage? There was the proposal, very interesting proposal that we heard about for a dictionary of Christian-Muslim relations, looking at some of the key terms in the Christian and Islamic traditions, being produced jointly by a team in the University of Munich in Germany and the University of Ankara in Turkey. There are plans to publish this dictionary in German and Turkish later this year, with an English translation to follow. The organisers expressed the hope that it may be possible to produce an Arabic edition as well. There is, of course, also bad news. And we were reminded at one of our sessions of something that has happened during the course of this conference, namely the kidnapping of 2 Christian bishops in Aleppo, I think on Monday, and they still have not been released. So anything that we can do to help with this kind of situation will be very important. And one question again that was raised, thanks to the generosity of the Emir here in Qatar, there are now Christian churches being constructed for the first time. Some greater appreciation of the local Christian community here might have been helpful. But finally, we had the very interesting comment from one speaker in terms of dissemination. It was commented that if you can train 200 priests, pastors, imams, leaders of the Muslim community, and this was particularly about health, you can train them thoroughly and you train the right people, you can reach 1.25 million people within a year. And in terms of the dissemination of what we have discussed and what we have learned here, that is a very challenging but a very positive message. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hugh, for this wonderful presentation. You went through many of the things that have been discussed during your session. And the last slide is really interesting to see. Thank you. Thank you all. Wonderful recommendations. I'm sure we all agree with all these recommendations. We'll take them into consideration, inshallah, in our final session. Now, قبل أن ننتهي من هذه الجلسة أمامنا قضيتين أو موضوعين. الموضوع الأول سيقدمه زميلي الدكتور إد كاسلر من معهد وولف انستيتيوت، وهذا مشروع ننجزه